Leila, I work. Okay. Yep. No, I can invite you again, I think. Sim. Mhm. Done.
Okay, I think you're live. That's great. That's great. I'm trying to. Can you say something? Because I want to make
Yeah.
sure that.
Can you hear me?
Okay,
Right?
everything is perfect.
Okay.
Okay, so should we start again or?
Let's do it.
So this was supposed to be me hosting you, but now on Instagram we're like both live at the same time with our own accounts, and on
So
YouTube it's right. Yeah, right.
I can pin the link here too. Wait a second here. So, okay, it's pinned.
Great.
I will just talk in Portuguese for a second, just to
Yeah,
explain.
sure. I'm gonna
Fala,
start speaking. Okay, go ahead.
Fala, galera! Só dando um alô para vocês. A gente está aqui em live com a. Toda a live agora da Leila, convidado para participar aqui com ela, trocar uma ideia. Então, eu vou estar falando inglês, trocando uma ideia com ela aqui. Então, se vocês quiserem acompanhar o monitor, eu deixei o link aqui fixado. E qualquer pergunta que vocês mandarem aqui, também pode mandar em português aqui ou em inglês, que a gente vai estar lendo. Qualquer coisa eu traduzo. E a gente vai estar trocando uma ideia aqui. Beleza? Então, é isso. Ok, back to English.
Okay. I just saw that you have the ZBrush pin, but I didn't put it on
Yeah.
my clothes. Yeah, so I got jealous and now I'm putting it here. Like I have it too. Okay.
It's like a coat, you know.
Yeah, like yeah, I have it too. Here we are, folks. I have the pin as well. All right. So, do you want to introduce yourself to the audience on YouTube, or we should just
Okay.
skip it because um, I don't know because now it's complicated. We're both live on Instagram, and then on the other hand is YouTube, my
Okay.
YouTube
Okay.
channel. So could you just please briefly introduce yourself to the
Right.
audience and talk about your journey? How did you know about ZBrush, and how did you enter about your, university degrees if you studied anything related to art, and let us know more about your history in ZBrush, please.
Okay. So about my journey, it's easier to talk about this if I split in three ways. Like an artist, and a teacher, a mentor, and content creator. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So I started with 3D like long time ago. When I was a teenager with 16, 17 years old, like 15 years ago, like
Mm-hmm.
15, 16 years ago. Um, I'm from a poor reality. I came from Rio suburbia
Mm-hmm.
in Brazil, and I'm from a family which didn't have much money, but helped me a lot and motivated me a lot to follow my dreams. You know,
That's
so
great.
my first contact with ZBrush was when I had like 16, and I had a computer that couldn't manage these amount of polygons.
All right.
So it was very hard to start. Um, let me see. Um, my first big opportunity to use ZBrush was like when I was like 20 or 21,
Mm-hmm.
that I was hired to work with 3D. And I had a
Mm-hmm.
chance to choose a PC to the company buy for me.
Mm-hmm.
So this time I could really study ZBrush, Blender, Maya, 3D Max, and stuff like this, Unreal. And after my work, I stayed in the job just
Mm-hmm.
studying 3D. And when I had some free time, and it was very important to me because I had an opportunity to study it.
Mm-hmm.
But um before this work, I entered the university when I was, and there when I was like 17 years old. Oh, sorry, like 20 years old. I
Mm-hmm.
had the opportunity to work with virtual reality and
Mm-hmm.
testing the glasses and stuff like this. And my final project in the university was working with 3D printer. So it was my first printed piece. I have it here. 1 second. Um,
I love this. I love when you keep things close to you so you
yeah,
can show it.
here. It was my first one. It's
Oh, that's
already
so
broken.
cute. That's so
So
cute.
it was my first project, my final project, working with collectibles and the
Sorry, I just
idea.
want to make sure how many years ago was this?
How many years ago, I don't know, like, bom, tem ideia quando a gente se formou? 20 and 17, like 80 years ago. 80
18
years
years
ago.
ago.
No, eight, eight,
8
eight.
years
Yeah.
ago. Okay, okay. I got scared for a second. 18 years ago.
Yeah.
How old are you? Right.
And it
Mm-hmm.
I had the luck to I had the opportunity to see all these 3D printer evolution, you know. I had a Prusa, one of the first homemade 3D printers that you had a lot of screws to fix the printers and things like this.
Right.
And then I had this model, the first one. And
Mm-hmm.
after this, like 1 year later or something like that, I had my first freelance opportunity
Mm-hmm.
working with a girl from, I don't remember, Sweden,
Mm-hmm.
to sculpt
Mm-hmm.
Toffee from Avatar. Was a really big challenge. I can
Uh-huh.
show you.
Yeah.
I can share my screen.
Yeah.
Let me see. Just a second. Let me find this model here.
Hi, Hadi.
Uh, my portfolio. Yeah.
Okay, you're sharing your screen. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't. Ah, okay. I can't view the image. Okay, this one
Mm-hmm.
is Toffee, my first freelance
Mm-hmm.
of 3D printing, modeling for printing. And it was a big challenge because I was used to use ZBrush like studying all the
Yeah.
time. And when I had to do my first project, my first professional one,
Mm-hmm.
it was very hard because I had no teacher, I had no experience, I had nothing. I just had the experience in studying by myself with ZBrush, and it was a very challenging model with posing and stuff like this. And at this time, my computer at my home was just struggling with it
Mm-hmm.
and stuck in. time by time, you know. So it
I've
was very
been
hard
there.
to pose it.
Yeah, I can imagine because I have also been there. I had problem with like bigger projects all the time with the high polygons because my laptop was very old and I needed to buy a new one, but I wasn't sure if I'm gonna make enough money with it or not. And I at the same time quit my job because I wanted to follow my dreams. I know we have been there, all of us somehow.
And the most part of my studying time was using the mouse itself, not a tablet. And I think when I had to do the tough model, I
Mhm,
was like 1 or 2 months with a tablet, you know. So
mhm,
everything was very new for me.
mhm,
So it was a big challenge at the moment, and I'm
right.
very proud of this project. It was very fun.
Mhm,
Um, and then I did IRO for the same client
mhm,
too.
mhm.
Um, and after this, I had this project. I love this project. It was a
Mhm,
big step in my career. I can show this one. It's published. Just a
mhm.
second. My so here.
Oh, that's very cool. Look at the
So
amount of details.
yeah, and at this time, when I looked in Facebook,
Mhm,
there was a guy posting the image, the concept art of this one,
mhm.
and writing something like this. I need a 3D artist to do a 3D model of this concept art as close as possible, you know,
Right.
of the concept art. And at this moment, I was like, oh shit, what can I do here? So I don't know how to do those chains or things like that. And then I just stopped thinking about this and okay, let me try it. So at this time, there was like no comments or one or
Mhm.
two comments of people trying to do this because the concept art was very, very complex. Like the main character here, a lot of bodies in the base. So it was very, very challenging. And then I had only one image, you know, I had no more
Right.
images or from other angles or things like
That
that.
makes
Eh,
it really hard
yeah,
because then you
yeah.
have to guess what is going on the other side, you know?
So I just stopped thinking about that and just posted there, okay, I can do this. Let's go. And he accepted the offer.
Mhm,
And it was very, very challenging because every step I needed to split
mhm.
step by step what I'm doing now, like blocking out, trying to find the shapes, the silhouette, and then I arrived at the tails phase. Like,
Mhm.
okay, I need to do those chains. How can I do that? And then each step I needed to watch a tutorial. And there is an artist Michael Pavlovic and
Yeah.
people like him. They are like dinosaurs of ZBrush.
True.
And their videos helped me a lot
Mhm,
in this model, for real. And I learned how to do chains, I learned how to do belts and
mhm,
heavy armor, like those hard surfaces. I had to study anatomy
mhm.
and the expression of the bodies and the style of the bodies too, like dirty bodies, you know.
Right.
So it was made for an artist, a
Mhm.
custom piece to the I don't know the name how when artist painting artists they
Uh,
have a model to show off their skills
uh,
of painting.
Miniature painters,
Yeah,
model painters.
but there is a category that they show off the miniature.
Uh,
No,
you mean
show.
like the events, the
Yeah,
festivals
yeah,
that
yeah,
they're doing it? Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah,
The,
there are like multiple categories that they can enter. There are like
yeah.
open category. There are like historical, different type of categories for each type of model. So if
So
the
yeah,
yeah.
right. It was the goal of this
Mm-hmm.
piece. It was
Okay.
printed to painting to
Mm-hmm.
show off the painting. And it was a very big step for me at the moment. And it was very, very important because it was a huge challenge. And
Mhm.
at this moment, I was just building my philosophy, like just do it, just try it
Yeah.
with what you have. So I had a lot of fear. I had a lot of low self-esteem and things like that. And I just needed to stop and try it. And it was very hard to do this model. A lot of nights crying or trying
Oh,
to, Jesus
but you
Christ,
did a
I
great
can't do this.
job. Yeah, I know. It feels like you have a very hard exam
Yeah,
that you don't know how to study for, and you have a deadline for it. It's
yeah.
it's just stressful.
And it was very, very helpful, this one.
Hmm.
And later I did this one too for Arena the contest for Dragon
Hmm.
Games, one of the first two. And time by time, each new model, I
Hmm.
had a lot of new challenges, that I need to learn more features of ZBrush. I need to
Hmm.
have more control. There is no like hanging chains. Now I need to follow the cloth surface.
Hmm.
Now I need to control better the details of the armor. So there is a lot of new tools here.
Right.
Uh, I think every new project until now is a new challenge, a
Hmm.
new challenge that you need to overcome. You
Or
know.
or
So
better to say it in this way, that with every project you learn new things, because
yeah,
it's true about all of us. It's a
perfect.
challenge, yes. Sometimes some pieces are in your comfort zone because you're just repeating the same thing that you already sculpted, and you already have the skills to do it. But sometimes with something new, you challenge yourself to learn more things technically in ZBrush, or either about like anatomy, about the design, about everything. And I think, yeah, I feel like I've been in my comfort zone for a long time. I need to sculpt like orcs and ogres to just, make a difference. Or maybe not. I've never sculpted one. I've never sculpted one. Maybe I should try, or maybe I shouldn't.
And about those projects,
Mhm.
there is something that's a little bit curious because in 3D
Yeah.
we have a lot of rules that people say, like
Mhm.
you need to know anatomy or things like that. And my journey,
Mhm.
I didn't need to know each muscle, each
Mhm.
anatomy surface. And I just studied anatomy and I studied anatomy until now. And
Mhm.
it wasn't a barrier like people think.
Mhm.
So when I started to teach, a lot of students ask me like, I need to know anatomy to start sculpting. I need to know draw. I need to know
Yeah.
drawing to start sculpting. And the answer is like, for me at least, was no. I could start sculpting without knowing anatomy at all, just observing. And I didn't know how to draw itself. But of course, it helps when you know it time by time. It helps when you keep studying it during your journey, during your career.
Mhm.
But you don't need to know that to start. It's
Yeah.
important point,
Yeah, I
at least
think
for me.
yeah, I think you're right, because when you start, you obviously have some knowledge, at least to start, and then on the way, is a journey that you will never stop learning, especially with our work, that we always have to update ourselves with each software, with the new version of each software. I think it's just impossible to not learn every day, and this is just a thing. It's a journey. We all have to learn, but if you have just a small amount of knowledge to start, why not? you
Yeah.
know
And then this was a miniature from Archvillains. It's one of the miniatures I like most. And
Oh, that's so cool.
it was a big step for me too, because different from the other projects here, I started to think with the art director, with about the movement, about the message, about the feeling of the piece, you know. So it's another step here on those projects. I just had to think about, okay, it's similar to the reference, or it's similar to the concept or not. And in this one, I needed to think about the feeling, about the emotion, about what is this girl, this woman doing here. So I like it a lot. This piece, I
So
think it's really
yeah,
beautiful.
I think you feel like you advanced a lot doing this work
Yeah.
in many ways, in artistic ways, in like anatomical, in the design, in the emotional way, as you mentioned. It looks really cool. I love it.
And one thing about this piece, it was the first piece I like it of my work.
Uh huh.
I like it this one, but I thought it was a really big step for me. But I thought this was I don't know, it's missing some kind of emotion, you know, it's a little bit rocky. And in this one, I it's my first it was my first project that I look at and okay, it's beautiful. I like my work finally. And it occurred like 2 years ago. So
Oh, so you felt finally you like your work
yeah,
just 2 years ago.
yeah.
Well, it shows that
Because
you're very humble.
Uh, I I don't think so, because when you start with low budget, when you start with no access to the softwares, to the technologies, it's hard to achieve some good results, and you start to blaming yourself, like I'm not good, my work's not good, I struggle a lot to learn. But it's not true at all, because it's harder to
Yeah,
learn when you don't have access to the technology,
exactly.
the peripherals, like the tablet and things like this. So we struggle a lot during our journey when we start like this. So it was my case, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a little bit hard
Yeah.
to accept your work, you know.
No, I think it's also very professional to not always consider yourself the best, because
Yeah.
as you consider yourself the best, you stop learning. You feel like, well, I know everything. I don't need to learn. Everybody has to respect me because I deserve it, and I don't think it's a professional move. I'm not saying self-sabotaging is good either, because you have to be realistic about your work. If it's good, it's good. If it's not good, then you have to try harder, try more. And I know that many of us as an artist, we all have this self-sabotaging things. I don't know why. It's a thing that we all have.
And after this one, it's important talking about this out sabotage, because at this
It is.
point, I started it like teaching. I I think it was like 5 or 6 years ago. And for me, teaching is important to understand your student, you know, the profile, the emotions, the way he learns it or she learns. So it's important to know what means that your piece is good, or what shows that your piece is not good, or what's good and what's not good. So I tried my best to understand how to analyze a piece, a sculpture, and understand the points which one is good or not good. For example, nowadays looking at that piece, I can see that and think, if it was from one of my students, I would say like, oh, okay, this isn't good. The surface, it's like a lot of bumps here. Um, this one, the face is a little bit with a lot of bumps too, or out of the anatomy. And the hard surface is good. The motion, the pose is good. So it's important, like an artist, you learn how to analyze a piece or your work or the works of people you admire and understand what's good that I can use it my work and what's not good that I can avoid it in the future.
Exactly.
So I think it's a big skill to train your eyes, not just the hand, not just the sculpture itself.
That's
Um,
right. Well, speaking about teaching, I would love to also ask about your teaching experiences too. I really need to know. Because I always loved teaching, but because I always feel like I don't have much to talk about to teach, and I'm like, no, maybe you shouldn't do it. Maybe not now. Maybe I'm just a little bit too introvert for that. But I really want to do it. I'm very interested to start teaching now. So I'm going to need your experiences. Please talk more about your experiences with teaching as well.
about teaching, what moves me in teaching? When I teach, I think I feel like helping my old Caio here, like the guy with 16 years
Oh
old
my
trying to use
God.
ZBrush and struggling a lot with a mouse and a
Mm-hmm.
computer that couldn't handle ZBrush. So I think of this kind of person, this profile, and then I try to remember that feeling and
Mm-hmm.
how I solved that and how can I translate this solution to the student, because I think it's important when you teach, it's important to know, to understand that each artist, each person, each one is different. So I have my problems and you have your problems and another person have other problems. So when I teach, I try to split things. I try to analyze the student like, okay, what are the emotional barriers like
Mm-hmm.
self-esteem, confidence and things like that. What are problems related to the emotional
Mm-hmm.
and what are the problems related to the program, the software
Mm-hmm.
itself, ZBrush,
Mm-hmm.
and what are the problems related to the concept itself, like um, the student can understand the silhouette, he can analyze the movement, he can analyze he can feel this piece or no, or he's just using the tools itself. So when I teach, I try to split in three ways: concepts like silhouette, things like that, tool, ZBrush tools, and emotional barriers. So I try to define or identify those barriers,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
That's very
Uh,
beautiful. Because if you see the student as your old self, it helps a lot
yeah,
because it requires a lot of compassion to understand what are the struggles and be able to be helpful in those areas rather than just, I have to teach and these are the things that I have to teach. So I'm going to start here and I'm going to end here and that's it. That's very beautiful. Thanks for sharing it.
I think there is no right or wrong in
Mm-hmm.
teaching because every day I learn a new thing with a new student, a new way of teaching, a new way of help him or her
Mm-hmm.
to get motivated. And I think the funny part of teaching is that, every day you learn a lot of it and you learn a lot with your students.
That's right.
So it's very,
Yeah.
very good. You learn a lot
It's not.
teaching.
Yeah. Exactly. It's not like you're teaching. It's like you're teaching and at the same time you're learning.
Yeah, yeah. And for me, it's very different when you have a mentor or a teacher
Mm-hmm.
that you admire. Like I had in this piece here, the dwarf,
Mm-hmm.
this one.
Right.
I had the chance to have some classes, a mentorship with Igor
Mm-hmm.
Kato
Mm-hmm.
from Iron Studio.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so it helped me a lot because when I struggled with something, or when I had a question, when I had a problem, I didn't need anymore to try to find it or
Mm-hmm.
like, how can I solve that? I just needed to ask, you know. I
Right.
think having a teacher, a mentor, it's the really big difference because it will make you advance so
Mm-hmm.
faster because you don't need to a lot of effort to discover the solution. You know, you don't need to search
Right.
for the solution. You can just ask for someone. It's much
Mm.
easier. So I think the 3D journey, 3D artist journey is very loneless at the most part of the
It
time.
is very longless.
Yeah, you are alone. The most part of
Mm-hmm.
it, like studying or sculpting, we are alone, like with no one, with
Yeah,
just
I would,
ourselves.
yeah, you're right, but I would not call it loneliness. I would call it more of solitude because
Solitude.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. You're
it
right.
makes it
Yeah.
sound less miserable because lonely means like you're always hiding yourself in your room and you're so lonely that you have to, sit there and create artworks. But solitude is like you're actually enjoying what you're doing, no?
So I don't know because nowadays I really like what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I really like my work, my job, my sculptures. I really like my time here. But the major uh, I don't know how to say that, but I had a long time
Mm,
struggling with my art itself
mm,
because at the most part of this time I was just thinking, oh, can I do that? Is
mm,
it possible? Is it good or not?
mm,
And sometimes I just stopped and I couldn't sculpt anymore.
mm.
You know, some a lot of days that I can't do this, I can't do this anymore. I need to do another thing. So um, I think nowadays, looking back, that's important to care about the emotional part.
Mhm,
It's the for me, it's
mm.
a huge portion of the artist itself, the emotional part, the emotional structure.
Exactly.
So nowadays, I have a uh, appreciate a lot the I don't know how to say it in English, maybe therapy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think
That's
it's
right.
very, very important because it will help you a lot to understand yourself, understand your art, understand your way of
Mm.
thinking, understand your barriers,
Yeah.
and look at your past. And okay, it's from my childhood. I need to deal with it and improve my art itself. And
Mm-hmm.
it's beautiful because when you can your fix your mind, it
Mm-hmm.
reflects in your art. I think every artwork has a little bit of the artist itself. So
That's very, very true. So I didn't understand. You mean to do therapy or to do
yeah,
therapy with your work? Because
no,
it's
to do
different.
therapy
Ah.
itself, to do that
Oh,
with a therapist,
okay.
with
I
a
wasn't
professional
expecting
one.
it.
Yeah,
Wow. I wasn't expecting you mentioning it because it's
yeah,
actually important. I do therapy twice a week as well. I think it's very important, but I wasn't expecting you saying that it's going to improve your work because not
yeah,
many people look at it that way. Everyone is like, no, I do therapy because I need to improve my life, not my work. But when you do art, is like it's kind of related because, as you mentioned, it's related
yeah,
to your inner part.
yeah. I started my therapy because my work,
Oh wow.
because yeah, I had a lot of barriers looking at my work, and
Mm,
sometimes I couldn't just stay in front of the computer
mm-hmm,
and model. So I need to talk with someone,
mm-hmm,
and then I started therapy and helped me a lot about it
mm-hmm,
to recognize my work itself, my quality, my self-esteem, things like that, you know. And it helped me a lot to try new things. For example, like maybe you are working with some kind of art because the market tell you, the industry tell you that's only way.
Mhm.
And then you try a new thing and you have courage to try new things, and you, okay,
Mhm.
I was born to make this kind of art, not for the industry itself, like they are
Right.
telling me, you know?
Mhm. It's all in here. It's all in your head. So
Yeah,
you know what's good for you and what's bad for you. And I believe when you do something that you love and you feel passionate about it, you're gonna make money with it one day.
yeah,
And it's not always about I have to do this because there's money in it. This actually answers my other question that I was going to ask you, which is like I get a lot of messages on my Instagram from young people that they want to start with ZBrush, or they want to follow their dreams, but they are afraid. They are like, "Oh, AI is coming. I don't know what's gonna happen in a few years. Maybe AI is gonna do sculptor's job. So I don't want to waste years of my life doing it." And every time I'm like, if you feel passionate about it and if you feel like you're enjoying it, just do it. But don't like uh, always have an income, like survive, but do what you feel like you should do, because if you're meant to make money with it, you're gonna make money with it. And if not, the only thing that you did is doing something that you loved and you didn't lose anything.
yeah. About AI, I don't have a solid opinion itself,
Hmm.
but I have feelings about it.
We all have.
uh, I'm excited with AI.
Hmm.
I have fear of AI.
Yeah.
I'm worried about AI and all of these because I'm happy and I'm excited with it because I like technology. So I like new things, new ways to explore, to do new
Hmm.
tools. I'm worried about it because we don't know about the future of the
That's
industry
right.
itself. We don't know about our future itself, how it will impact our work, our art itself.
Hmm.
And I have fear of it because when we try to look it outside of the art industry, you look
Hmm.
at what AI is capable
Hmm.
of, like weapons and politics and things like that.
Hmm.
There are people that are dying because
That's true.
uh, AI, like I went to a museum
Hmm.
like 6 months ago talking about the impact of the AI in war. So
Wow.
yeah, so
So I'm curious, what was it about? If you
it
can.
was talking about the racism inside
Hmm.
it, like AI capable to recognize faces,
Hmm.
and it could recognize all white people. And when
Hmm.
black people appeared in the camera, it didn't recognize like a face. But
Hmm.
when the people use it like a white mask, it could recognize the mask itself. So how racist are the algorithms about the weapons itself that could have some self-control
Hmm.
about who they want to kill or not, and things like that,
Oh,
so
wow.
it's dangerous.
Wow.
Yeah,
So it's not about the algorithm. It's actually how it's designed, I can call it, because it's
yeah.
designed. It's not something that is algorithm. Well, well,
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it. Surprise! Yeah.
So, and us like artists, I think we are just the tip of the iceberg because there are
Hmm.
huge companies
Hmm.
worried about AI itself,
Hmm.
like the softwares, like Maya, ZBrush, 3D Max, Substance Painter, Adobe itself, Maxon, how they will manage
Hmm.
AI. Will they need the artists itself or not? So there are huge people there that need to worry about AI before me.
That's true.
So
That's true. But one thing I can tell you, is that huge people always have huge money. So
Yeah,
maybe they
I
don't
agree with
worry
you.
that much. Well, I don't know. Actually, we don't know what's gonna
Yeah,
happen even in just 2 minutes. So sometimes I feel like it's just a waste of time to worry about it too much. But I like we had this conversation 2 days ago, I think, with two of my friends that we were talking about AI. Two of them were illustrators, I think, and everyone is worried. Everyone is talking about it.
yeah,
Everyone's like, hot topic is this, and I think the the worst part is that people who want to start but they are worried to start because of that, and being stuck like that is horrible. And I feel like I need to, at least for those who are texting me on Instagram asking for help, I need to ask every, every guest that I have to, to talk about it and make them feel at least a little bit, like, relaxed to decide what they want to do, because being stuck is just wasting of time. You either have to choose what you want to do, or find a way. Because also the other thing that I always talk about is that actually AI is, is growing in many fields, and it's not only art. Art maybe is the easiest target. It has always been the easiest target, but if it's growing in every field, then all of us are in danger. So maybe we shouldn't worry that much. When you see yourself not alone in a problem, it just makes it, easier to handle the pain somehow.
yeah, I agree. And as I said before, like just
Hmm.
start, just do it, just do what you love, just do follow your dream, you
Right.
know? Because
Right.
if you stop and start thinking about the life itself, oh, should I start or should I not start? Bro,
Hmm.
like 16 years ago, if I was doing that, I wouldn't start, like, oh,
Anything.
my
Yeah.
computer, oh, I don't have a tablet and things like this. So now it's like AI or things like this. Bro, just start it. If you have problems in the future, it's normal, new problems. You struggle with a lot of things, but you are doing what you love and you will handle it. You can overcome those barriers itself, this challenge. It's normal. It's life.
Yeah.
So go on, just start it.
Very, very interesting responses from you. I love this.
Yeah,
Also, I wanted to ask you to show us your latest artwork that you sent me today. I used it
right.
for the thumbnail on YouTube. I really want to know what's the story behind it.
About my last one is this one.
Yeah, that one is really cool.
To talk about this, I need to talk about the content creator part
Uh
of
huh.
myself. So some Black Dragon asked what's my favorite recent work. This one, I
Mm-hmm.
love this work. The story behind it, I was posting it today because I didn't updated my ArtStation like for 2 years or 3 years, and today I was like, oh, I need to show something there in my life, so I need to
Yeah.
update that. So there are some new works there. I have a lot of works to put to
Yeah.
uploading ArtStation. So
Yeah, you're too busy creating good content of learning, like ZBrush hacks, that you
yeah,
forget to share your artwork.
so ZBrush Hacks was important part of my life
Mm-hmm.
because I started teaching
Mm-hmm.
to students
Mm-hmm.
itself, and then I stopped a while and started thinking, how can I help more people?
Mm-hmm.
And then the idea came from ZBrush Hacks, and the goal of ZBrush Hacks was like short
Mm-hmm.
videos that I could teach some tool, some
Mm-hmm.
new workflow, a fast way, an easier way to do something. And then after a while, some videos later, Maxon invited me to the Amsterdam last year,
Yeah,
and bro, this event was crazy. It
I
was very, very
know.
good. It was, yeah, and
And there we met.
yeah, yeah, and I have a lot of recordation, memories
Mhm,
of this
mhm,
event, good memories from this event. I really loved this.
mhm,
Um, and then uh, they invited me to be a beta tester of
mhm,
the last update of ZBrush, and I could do it in iPad, testing iPad, and man, it's like amazing. Using iPad, like, you can sculpt everywhere. You can sculpt with anything. You
mhm.
can before sculpt before sleeping.
Right.
So this is
So
my one of
you
the last one.
sculpted everything in ZBrush for iPad.
At the moment, I almost no use iPad because I'm recording a lot of
Mm-hmm.
content, of course, and things like that. But for doing this piece, I was like just using iPad,
That's
because you can do everything in
amazing.
the iPad.
That's
I
right.
think the only thing you need to use the computer yet is to export the files,
Mm-hmm.
like with the 3D Print Hub. You don't have these in iPad yet, but
Well, Kyle, just like 2 weeks ago, I was in Rome. I didn't have access to my computer, and one of my friends he sent me a file and he asked me, please scale these models in your iPad because I need to send it to a printing service. And I was like crazy looking online. How can I export STLs in ZBrush for iPad? And something just came up like something like add-ons or something, but it didn't work. Then I just like, okay, maybe there is a way and I haven't figured out yet. But then he found a way to do his work, and now you're mentioning that it's not possible to do that.
I in the traditional way, maybe
Yeah.
someone can
So
find a way because ZBrush like
yeah.
a box of mysteries.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's possible yet because you don't have the Scale Master,
Mm-hmm.
the plugin. You don't have the 3D Print Hub. I think the only two ways to scale things in ZBrush. So it's not
Mm.
possible yet.
Well, yeah, I came up, I was asking ChatGPT, how can I do it in ZBrush for iPad? Actually, I thought about texting you and asking you because every time I have a problem with ZBrush for iPad, the first person is like asking you, and then I ask Ian, I ask Rodolfo, but the first person I ask you, like, because like you mastered it and very fast. You mastered ZBrush for iPad like in just a few days, I guess.
I'm like I'm a nerd because
Me too.
I was reading the manual since the launch
Mhm,
of ZBrush for iPad. I was where can I read about it? Where can I learn about the features itself?
mhm,
And yes, I could buy an iPad
mhm,
and study it like for 4 days,
mhm.
5 days, and I could help it. I could help them in the event to teach how to use ZBrush
Yeah,
for iPad. But
I remember.
it's much easier to teach ZBrush for iPad than ZBrush for PC. The UI is so clean and the workflow is
Yeah.
so clean itself. I really liked it.
Hmm. So you sculpted everything of this piece in ZBrush for iPad.
Yeah, everything, everything,
Amazing.
and it was those pieces is this one and
Mm-hmm.
this one and this one were the three pieces that was huge for me because they appeared in ZBrush Demo Reel.
Mm-hmm.
I had one more that I did
Mm-hmm.
for Monka Studios,
Mm-hmm.
Salath of World of Warcraft. I think it's the name of the character, Salath. Shalath. I don't know the name.
Um, I don't know how to pronounce it either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm terrible with names.
I will upload it
Mm-hmm.
here this week, but I don't have it yet. But those pieces was a big
Mm-hmm.
step for me because it was like a dream appear
Mm-hmm.
in ZBrush demo reels,
Mm-hmm.
and those pieces appear there. And this one
Mm-hmm.
appeared in the installation of
Mm-hmm.
ZBrush 2025. And when I was installing ZBrush and saw my piece, I was like, Jesus Christ, okay,
Oh
it's
my
me.
God. That has to feel really good.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing. So
Yeah,
I love this piece. Yeah. Ah,
it's
and one
beautiful.
one thing,
Very cool. Yeah.
I was using to, I told you
Mm-hmm.
that I was using to follow concepts all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I receive a concept,
Mm-hmm.
I need to follow this concept. And this one, I I chose to explore, and I had no concepts, just a lot of mood boards,
Uh-huh.
because like 3 years ago or 4 years ago, I wanted to do a gesture like
Mm-hmm.
this one, and I had like no time or no, I don't know, no motivation.
Mm-hmm.
And when I had to do a piece for the beta tester, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, now I have motivation that I needed. Let's try it. Let's do it. And this one, I had no concept. I created it from the scratch. So I love this piece. I really love this piece. It's
That's
the work.
awesome. That's awesome. You created everything by yourself.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Great job.
So yeah. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
That's awesome.
Uh, yeah.
We have another comment on I have to wear my glasses because I don't see properly on YouTube comments. Kayo and Leila, what kind of area of the 3D modeling industry do you enjoy working in the most? Games, movies, action figures, miniatures, teaching, etc. You go on first.
Teaching is
Yeah.
the top one. I love
Mhm.
teaching. And then I I don't know. I do miniatures, some action figures. I
Mhm.
already did it. I did some NFTs too.
Mhm.
Uh, I did Baby Reborn
Yeah.
here, Baby Reborn here. So
Oh.
I don't know. I think I like to explore. I don't
Mhm.
know. I want to. I'm studying at the moment like the general. These words so difficult to do gels. Okay.
Gen- generals?
No, jewels, rings
Jewels.
and bracelet,
Ah,
jewels.
Jules.
Ah, thanks
Jules.
God.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Jules.
Yeah,
Oh, really? You're doing
yeah.
Jules.
I'm start
Wow.
studying it.
You're
I'm not doing it
actually
yet.
exploring
Yeah,
everything. It's a
yeah.
surprise. I didn't know about it.
I think it's one of the fun parts of 3D. You can explore a
Hmm.
lot of industries,
Exactly.
different industries. So
Exactly.
I'm
Because.
studying a little bit of games too,
Mhm.
because you need to use Substance Painter like
Mhm.
Unreal and other softwares.
Mhm.
And Jewels, you need to understand about metals and things like that.
That's
So I think it's fun.
right. Well, for me, I think I love miniatures. It's my profession. I love collectibles. I love sculpting for collectibles, first of all. I also have experience working in the production of a movie. I didn't create characters for the movie. I created asset props for the movie characters, and that was my, I can say, best experience, work experience in life, because it was just amazing, and I would love to do that again because um it's just another world. Every day is different than yesterday. So I had to, we have a cinema town in Tehran, in Iran. I was working there, and I had to go to the office every day, and every day was different. I didn't feel like I'm working in an office. I felt like every day is different, because one day you go there, you have to do, for example, a sword, do a battle axe. You design the flowers of the flowers or the motifs on a piece of dagger, for example, or on a piece of cloth on a movie character, and that was just different. Every day was different. Every day was exciting. Every day was full of learning new things, and I loved it. I think if I have a chance to do something like that, I would go for it. Especially now, I feel like I need excitement. And also, I recently felt like I really want to teach, and teaching also excite me because it's, again, it's not, yeah, it's not about, really, it's not about just teaching. It's about learning, because I think teaching is very challenging. You have to be prepared every day, every moment, because it's not just you saying things and goodbye. It's like you have to interact with your students, and every student have a different world, and every student has different type of questions that you have to be able to respond. So you have to be every day ready for new questions, and update yourself. And I think it's exciting, so why not?
And Leila, it's important to say in this event in
Mhm,
Amsterdam,
mhm.
the IBC.
Yeah.
Uh, Before I start my talk,
Mhm.
there was a problem with the computer, with the notebook itself. It
Yeah.
wasn't recognizing the tablet.
Mhm.
So the Maxon team came to me and told me, okay, you can present it using iPad because the tablet isn't working and your presentation isn't there. And I was like, no, I can use the notebook itself, no problem. And they were like, you use mouse to sculpt? Are you crazy? And
Mhm.
okay, I can handle it. I already did it, so don't
You
worry
did
about it.
it.
So yeah, and I use
Wow.
it just the mouse to in the presentation, and it's an important point for me
Mhm.
because when I look at this point at this moment, I was just able to do that because I had my journey itself. You know,
Mhm.
like when I was 16, 17, 18, 19, I was using the mouse all the time.
Mhm.
So it's part of my philosophy to start with
Mhm.
what you have. Like if you have on a mouse to start studying ZBrush, do it. If you have on a small tablet, start doing it. If you have, I don't know, if you
Mhm.
have a lot of problems, just start what you love. So
That's
for me,
right.
it's important to say that I don't know what you are passing by right now. You, Leila, people who are
Mhm.
watching, but in the future, it can be important for you. It can be
Mhm.
important for people who will work with you because you are passing by it and you will find the solution. And this
Mhm.
solution can help people in the future, you
That's
know?
right.
So each step of our journey is important to go in the way you love. It's part of us, you know. It's part of our
That's
art
true.
itself.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
I missed your presentation in IBC because I also already had a problem. I brought my this tablet to connect it to their computer, and I was supposed to sculpt, like the entire thing was me sculpting, but just like 5 minutes me presenting something. And it was so stressful because it didn't connect just right before I start. And I was so stressed. And for the first time in my life, it wasn't actually first time, it was my second time sculpting inside the iPad. And I did it live. So I was so stressed, but I'm so glad that everyone was so supporting there. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't feel like I don't know those people. Everyone felt like I know all of them for years. And I was so surprised that I'm receiving so much love and support here. And this doesn't look like it's real, you know? So I was really sad, and I missed that part that you sculpted with the normal mouse, right?
Wait. Can you repeat?
I said I was sad
Okay,
about
it's
what
one.
happened to me,
Uh-huh.
and I missed that part that you said that you sculpted with the normal mouse, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you did a great job. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Wow.
because when we think about the tablet itself,
Mhm.
there is only one function in the tablet, that is pressure.
Yeah.
But in ZBrush, you can do a lot of things
Hmm.
without pressure itself. You can
Hmm.
use the modifiers, you can
That's
use
right.
the scope, the scope pushing leads, and
Hmm.
you can work with low resolution to control your mesh
Hmm.
itself. So there are there are some topics that will be hard
Hmm.
to do with mouse itself, like hair. Hair, you need a lot of
Hmm.
pressure control to do.
That's right.
But things like a Funko, you can do it with the mouse, you know? So you can study a
That's
lot of
right.
tools in ZBrush with mouse.
You
So
have a warrior soul.
yeah.
Bravo.
Thank you. Yes, I think it's part of the game because there is no life without problems. And yep, you need to
Mhm.
find a way to solve it. So, yep.
I just got another comment on YouTube. Do you recommend any material for sculpting gesture and scene composition?
Material to study gestures. I like to use white materials or no color, but it's like me or some light colors with
Uh,
high contrast
mm-hmm.
to see the bumps itself. But for the gestures, I don't really have a main material because I think gestures is about like silhouette
Mm-hmm.
itself. I don't think about the material.
I think what I do often, I use that, black and white small thumbnail that is like
Yeah.
on the left top side of your ZBrush scene. You can just, make it bigger and smaller. You can rotate your model and see it from different views and see the silhouette. It helps a lot to understand the composition, to understand the gesture, to understand if it's gonna look good without material and without colors, because specifically for me that I do print out things, like I do print out, for example, if I show you this one, I do print out stuff. For example, this one has a very simple silhouette. It looks like a flower. It looks like, all these are like flower petals. If I show it like this so people on YouTube can see it as well. It looks like from every view, it looks like there's a storm maybe here, like it's something that is like spiraling around and it comes up. You cannot actually see what is going on inside. There are two figures inside this silhouette. But also, this silhouette has a story to talk about. The silhouette is like showing something, and then you get inside the silhouette and you see something different. So it all depends on the goal, I think. And then, like, for seeing what is this inside ZBrush, I always use this black and white thumbnail that you can see in ZBrush. I make it bigger, I rotate the model inside ZBrush, and I check it from every angle to make sure that it's interesting enough. From the main angle, I have to always make sure that it's interesting, but from like sides, and especially from view, for example, like this, maybe it doesn't make sense that much, but it has to always, work somehow from every angle. For example, we don't want to see like a straight line here. If it's just one side, we don't want to see that boring straight line. So we always have to make it kind of look interesting with curves and stuff.
Leila, one thing that I like most of your art itself is the emotion. All of your pieces, there are a lot
Thank
of
you.
emotion involved, you know, and
It's
I
painful.
really appreciate it.
People who feel too much, they suffer too much. And I'm like one of those. I feel too much and I suffer too much. I don't recommend it to anyone. Don't be like me.
But you can translate in a beautiful way
Yeah,
those
that's
emotions
true.
to your work, to your art, you know. I really like
That's
this.
true.
And
Thank you.
people really like this too because time by time when people come to me and oh, you know Leila, I love her works and it's
That's
very
so
okay, I
sweet.
need to tell her about that.
Yeah,
And
I remember you wrote a message. That's so
yeah,
sweet. Yeah.
recently
Yeah.
in an event, there was a guy like, "Oh, you're Kai Caesar, and you know Layla too." And oh,
Oh,
okay, you know,
that's so sweet.
yeah.
I'm
So
blushing now.
yeah, you have a really beautiful art. I really like.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad people like my work. And sometimes it surprises me as well, that people can see things in my work that even I cannot see it. Like maybe I can see it as well, but maybe I didn't mean it that strongly. And I really feel good that people can get emotional seeing my work, because I think our artwork is a way of communication. And if my work is talking to someone in a good way or in a bad way, sometimes you can feel sad looking at something too, and it's not good. But maybe that's what we need at that moment. And every emotion, I think, deserves to be looked at, even the bad ones, even sadness, even sorrow. You need to process every emotion, and I'm glad that it talks to the audience. I'm glad that it talks to the audience.
He's there now. Look at the last comment.
It was me. Hello, Juan Carlos Rosmagan. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Well, I wasn't expecting it. It was so unexpected that he wrote me. Oh, I met someone not in a contest. It was in on an event that
An
you
event.
both met. Yeah, it was so unexpected because also a few days ago, not a few days ago, a few weeks ago, I met someone and he told me that our lecturer in the university, he was showing your artwork to us, and he was like, teaching us things on your artwork. I was like, no, that's not true. And I was so surprised, like, oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was so surprised.
and Leila, it's important to tell people too when about the topics,
Mhm.
the sculpting topics like anatomy or hard surface or hair, things like that. When you're starting
Mhm.
the 3D journey,
Right.
um, I I'm using to tell people that you don't need that much of anatomy study. But when I tell them this, it's related to the miniature
Mm-hmm.
industry, like for Patreon or things like that, that you need to sculpt a lot of warriors with huge armors, huge hard surface
Yeah.
or cloth or things like that. But in your work, for example, you almost have no hard surface stuff like armors, but you have a lot of anatomy. So I think when we are talking about what I have to start studying, depends on your goal, you know,
That's
because you need to, at first, guys, if you are wondering what you need to start studying, you need to stop your modeling and start searching about your goal, what you want to do. Like you want to
true.
be a sculptor like Leila with a huge knowledge of emotional part or conceptual part, anatomy part, and you need to study this way, you know. But if you want to enter like Patreon or like doing miniature for Dungeons and Dragons, you need to learn a lot of different tools, not anatomy so deep. And if you want like Warhammer, you need to know a lot about
About
hard
work.
surface
Yeah,
weapons and things like that.
that's
So
right.
there is no rules about what you need to start learning,
And you
but
don't
it's
have
based.
to, sorry
No,
for the interruption,
no,
and you
no
don't
problem.
have to master everything. As you
Yeah,
mentioned, you have to find your own passion and your own goal, and you have to follow that path. You don't have to
yeah,
be good at everything. And I always tell this to my friends in the industry, my sculptor friends, that we are all good at what we are doing in different ways. For example, if I can do anatomy good, this doesn't mean that like you're not you're not a better sculptor or I'm a better sculptor. This means that maybe you can do like hard surface way much better than me, but I'm better than you doing anatomy. This doesn't make any of us less valuable or better than each other. It's just like we're in our own path, and you don't have to
yeah,
always compare yourself to the others to think lesser than, or to think that no, I suck at it, I should stop. Because this
yeah.
is another thing for for youngers to to stop or to not start with what they want to do.
And another topic that's important is about style too.
Mm-hmm.
I think people don't talk much about style, and we have
True.
not much space to explore it in the industry itself, because when we are starting our work, we it's common that people start looking for the right way to do the all the things, you
Yeah,
know. But
that's another thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
and put your mind, you can explore, you can try like what's the name of the guy? Uh, Mo, let me ask for help. O cara das artes. Frank Frazetta, obrigado. You can do like Frank Frazetta anatomy, like exploring new muscles and things like that to pass the message itself you want to communicate. You can do like Rodin with the mass itself, the surface, playing with the surface. There is no right and wrong,
Exactly.
but you can explore, or at least you can understand the language of the company you are working for. Like in Arc Villains was one language. Epic Miniatures was another language I could explore. Like
Exactly.
each one has a art language itself, you know?
Exactly. And ZBrush is a
Yeah,
tool that is like it for reaching one goal. I always say that there are like more than 1,000 ways to achieve, and every artist has their own ways to do things inside ZBrush, and there's no rule for that. So another thing that is stopping some starters, some beginners, are that well, I don't know how to do it, I don't know what's the right way to do it, so I'm not gonna do it. Just do it. Just do it. Find a way to do it, and do it. No one is gonna ask you how you did it, or maybe they will, which is good. This means that it's impressive enough that they're asking you how you did it. But this doesn't mean that you cheated, because this is another thing that I also experienced. I always thought that I cheated because I'm using some tools in ZBrush, but this doesn't mean cheating. This means that you know how to use ZBrush, you know how to use tools, and you're one step ahead from what you are not doing before doing that thing.
uh,
And yeah.
I have a fun story about like 4 years ago, like 5 years ago. I don't remember. I'm really bad with dates. Uh, but I was in Alex Oliver workshop, uh, sculpting with clay, and then we were doing like some Vikings heads, and there was a lot of skilled people there, you know, great artists there, learning and doing things. And when I was sculpting mine, I had uh, a problem to start because I forgot all my tools. So I had no tools to work, but I found a sticker there, and they borrowed me one tool. So, okay, I
Okay.
can work with that and my fingers, it's enough. Okay, let's do it. And then I had problems to do the hair,
Mm-hmm.
beard, mustache, the mustache.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a braided mustache,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I was struggling to do this. And then I stopped. How can I do this mustache? And I thought like a kid. I started picking a bunch of clay and rolling it in the table. And I do it with three different ways and did it like with hair itself. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't sculpt it, but
Mm-hmm.
used the clay with like the hair itself.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the workshop, there came a lot of students there to me and how you did that, how you sculpted that. Oh gosh, these mustache is
Yeah.
hard to do. And I know it isn't hard. You can just roll some clay
Yeah.
itself and do it with your hands, you know. And for me, it's a way that worked a lot when I struggling with some part of my work in ZBrush. I stop and how can I do this in a easier way? Is there an easier way to do this? A
I
simpler way?
think it's called creativity. It's
Yeah,
like you find ways to get yourself out of trouble. You don't have
yeah.
tools. You forgot your tools. You don't know how to do it without tools, and you find a way to do it, even if it's traditional sculpting. It shows that you're confident what you're doing, and you're creative, and this is really positive.
And it was the main goal of ZBrush Hacks, you know. I try
Mm,
to show different ways to do the same thing, like
right.
uh, how to use few tools to do a nice job. Because look at your job, look at your art, Leila. You see a very complex art like this heart, this flower, and this heart. When you look about it, about the tools you use it, you just use it a few of brushes, a few of
Exactly.
tools itself, and you could do complex things with that. You know, it's the way you use the tools that make the difference, not the
Yeah,
tool itself.
yeah,
So
exactly. Wow, you
yeah.
said it in a different way, but in a very beautiful way. I liked it.
So
Amazing. So it's been more than 1 hour. I don't want to take your time more than this. I would just like to ask you if you have anything to add. I really learned a lot. I wasn't expecting to hear about therapy, actually, because yeah, because I wasn't expecting it at all. Like it can improve your work. Because I've been thinking about it as well, and I have a friend who also used the same artwork that I just showed, this one, in therapy, and it helped him. And I also showed some of my work that I have here to my therapist just like 1 or 2 months ago, and I was so ashamed of it. I was like, no, why did I do it? Like I was so ashamed of it. But now that you're mentioning, I feel like I'm less lonely in what I did. I wasn't expecting it. Thank you for mentioning it.
uh, I uh, just want to thank you for the invite. It was a very cool talk.
Hmm. Thank you for accepting to be here. And I got one promise from you for doing this again because it was very messy today.
Let's do
Uh, let's do it again one more time. And also, I want to make you please promise in front of the audience that you're gonna
it.
make more videos of like ZBrush hacks videos in English, because you did some English, but then again in Portuguese.
Yeah,
You should do
yeah,
more.
it's a big question for me, a big deal because
Mhm.
uh, I really don't know because when I started doing it in English, people in Brazil like, oh, why do it in Portuguese? When I came into
Yeah,
Portuguese, and people like, Oh no, do it in English. So maybe one day I start doing both languages.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
like you always have the written
subtitles.
English part,
Yeah.
yeah. But we are just lazy. I mean, me personally, I'm lazy. I don't read anything. When I'm on Zebra on Instagram, I just want to, scroll and hear things and
Yeah.
see things. I don't want to read anything. But there are
And
really cool hacks that you're,
thank
making videos and
you.
posting every day. Not every day, but like quite frequently you're doing it. And I'm curious to know what you're talking about, but I'm too lazy to read it. I want to hear it in English.
I don't know. I need time to do it because
Mm,
or I can record and voiceover. I don't know. I will try to find a solution to do it in English again.
yeah.
And and Leila, I think it's important just to add a little thing in the end about
Mm-hmm.
me, how I perceive myself. It's
Mm-hmm.
important to tell you about that to people there. I think when we are artists or we are studying art, I look
Mm-hmm.
at my work. I like my work. I like some pieces most, other pieces I don't like much.
Mm-hmm.
But it's important to an artist look at your job and recognize it like steps in your career,
Exactly.
independent of if you like it or you don't like it. It's your work, it's your journey, and it's important to look behind. And it has its value, and you
Mm-hmm.
need to appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's important to when you reach your goal or your dream, it's important to look at the future too, because we have to study all the time and like until we die, and never is enough to tell you like, oh, I'm the greatest artist, or
Mm-hmm.
I'm the really good one. That try to be humble because it's important to learn and to improve your work until the end, so keep that in mind, you that can be watching and starting in
Yeah,
this journey.
I agree with you 200%. It's very helpful to progress.
Yes. Yeah.
So, thank you again for accepting to be here. We learned a lot. I love the conversation. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And I'm really sorry for the messes that I made today with my OBS setting. And sorry again for not going live for 3 weeks. I was traveling and having fun for, sculpting with clay, sculpting in ZBrush for iPad, having demo in Poland, and judging the contest in Poland for miniature festival, and uh, and yeah, I will try my best to not miss any week from now. I will go live next week, probably alone or with another artist. And thank you for being supportive all the time and being there and watching and following and giving me likes. That's it.
And Leila, just to guys, Leila will be off. I don't know when, but she will come to Barcelona, so it she won't
Yay!
she won't do lives. I
Yeah.
don't know when yet, but she will come. So
When
you
she's
don't
here,
worry.
she's not gonna she's not gonna go live.
Well,
That's
thanks
true.
a lot. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for the opportunity.
Thank you too. All right. Have a nice evening, everyone. Have a nice evening, Kayo. Talk to you guys soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye.